And it's a lesson I've learned. And it's a lesson I still have to learn every day because it's tough. You still have to offer, you still have something to offer even when you yourself are broken. And it's weird because, like, okay, maybe I started to step into that mentor role, but it's like I still had a missing piece, you know? And it's tough when you feel broken. Yeah, you have to help fix or heal others too, you know?
Yeah, how did you handle that? Because you were filling the role that you didn't see how to because you never had that.
I was told once a good man comes from two things: a great household and a horrible household. So, like, you could be good because you've known exactly what good is, and you could be good because you know exactly what bad is. Like, you know how horrible it could be. You don't ever want that for anybody else, so you got to be good.
Welcome back to Ministry Reimagined. I loved this episode because it was with one of my very close friends, where I've heard some of the stories he's told in this episode, but we don't spend enough time talking about how much these stories impact our lives and how life-changing they really are. I hope you enjoy his story. Instead of having you introduce yourself with those basic, how would you introduce yourself questions, I want to ask you, what is something the people closest to you would say about you?
I would say probably I care a lot about the people around me. I think they would say that I'm pretty consistent. Some of them
Consistent
would say that.
in what way?
If I say I'm going to show up someplace, I show up someplace.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how other people would describe me because I'm not other people.
Okay, what would you want them to be able to describe you as?
That's good. Somebody who's kind. Somebody who cares. And somebody who takes the time to truly see who others are.
So instead of like surface level?
Yes.
Okay. What's something that people that just met you might not know about you?
A lot of people think I'm very serious and quiet, and it is true to some extent. But I think the more you get to know me, the more comfortable I get around you, and the more, you know, I don't know, the more you can see like the real me, I guess. So it's actually funny because my family is really loud. So if you know all my family members, they're super loud, and I'm like kind of like the quiet one, but I can get loud sometimes. Yeah.
Interesting. That is true. I feel like the first time I met you, I could see how people could think you're quiet, but then what level do you think that is? Like, what level do you start showing that you're loud, I guess?
I have to trust you enough and respect you enough. It has to be those two things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes you don't have to answer this, but what makes you respect somebody?
It's a lot of things, but I think it's mainly how you carry yourself around the people you care about. And like, respect is like if somebody that I know already likes you, then you already like check off a box. So it's like I'm already more willing to show like my true side because somebody I really am close to already trusts you, you know.
Okay. Interesting. It sounds like, do you think you have a good judge of character?
I like to think so, but I don't know. But yeah, I like
funny.
to think so.
This is an interesting one because from what I do know about you, you love stories.
Yes, I do like stories. Or I like to call them experiences, but yeah, stories. Because what I like is feelings that are able to be shared. And so a good way to do that is stories. Yeah.
Okay. If someone wanted to understand more about you, what is a story that you would tell them?
That's a good question. I don't know about a story per se. There's multiple stories.
Okay.
But I could share a small story. So I carry myself as like somebody serious. Somebody who doesn't really smile a lot or whatever if you just met me. But the truth is I'm actually a super, super, super emotional person. Like I feel deeply. And I don't like that.
You don't like that you feel
I
things?
hate that. I hate it. I actually hate that about not hate about, it bothers me a little. I was talking with my therapist one time, and they said, like, yeah, you like, they basically called me an empath or whatever, but they told me that, like, they can understand how draining that could be, because you feel so deeply about things and the people you care about, and yeah, and you can understand people. And she said, like, not everybody can do that. But so one time I was a little kid and we were playing soccer. I was probably 10 years old. I said something that bothered one of the kids who I was playing around, and he just came up and he punched me in the gut.
Oh.
And I started to cry, but I wasn't crying because it hurt. I was crying because I was so angry and I wanted to hurt the other kid, but I knew that I shouldn't.
How old were you at this
I was
time?
10.
10.
And I remember my dad was there, and he came up and he yelled at me. He's like, "Jaden, what are you doing?" or whatever. But I said it in the wrong tone. But he yelled at me. And, like, he told me later, he said, like, he didn't see that kid punched me. But I wanted to hurt him so bad. But he said, like, I saw it in your eyes that you wanted to hurt him. Wow. And I didn't know what happened. And so, yeah, I just had to leave, and I went alone. And I just cried. And it wasn't because it hurt. It was because I was so filled with emotion that I couldn't necessarily let go in the way that I wanted to. So I just started crying. And so that's sort of like a little story if you actually wanted to, like, understand. So a lot of times, like, you know, you might think I'm crying or something, but you might not understand a certain emotion. Or it's because I'm feeling so many different emotions. Yeah. That's just the way I, like, respond.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know you had a therapist. That's kind of cool.
Not anymore.
Why?
They said I didn't need therapy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good, I guess.
You graduated therapy.
Except that, like, I feel like I need it.
Oh.
Because, like I said, like, it was at a point where I was crying a lot, like, once a week, twice a week. And it wasn't because, like, I was sad. It was just, like, super feeling. So I thought there was something wrong with me. But then my therapist just told me that, like, well, I feel deeply, and that's something good. And I was like, but it kind of sucks. It's very draining. Yeah. And like, yeah, you kind of just have to live with it. Bye-bye. So
is there a part of you that's, like, not likes it, but is, like has peace with that part of you?
Yes. I like to think that I understand people in, like, a deeper way. And it's a way that I connect with people. So it's actually kind of funny, like, it's weird. A lot of my friends, like, when we have, like, one-on-one deep talks on our walks or whatever, they trust me enough to ask me, like, what's something you think I should work on, or what's something wrong with me, or, like, what's the worst part about me? And, like, I think that kind of goes to show that, like, they think that I understand them enough to know them.
Yeah, that's good.
But a lot of times I don't think I don't know if I would use the word worthy enough. I don't think I'm the right guy for the job type thing, which is weird.
I don't know if you would say this about yourself, but it's something I see. You're very ministry focused and very passionate about it, at least from some of the work that you do. Would you say that?
I guess so. I could see that point of view. But, like, to me, another thing about me, I hate titles and I hate labels.
Okay.
So,
what's the label you hate from the ministry focus part, I guess?
I don't know if I do ministry. Like, I don't view it as that. Like.
Okay. Well, let's walk it through. So from what I know, you're in Pathfinders still.
Yes.
And that's a big, from the people that I know, they kind of just stopped going to Pathfinders before. I mean, I stopped after 10th grade because all my friends stopped and everybody.
That's around the time my friends stopped too.
Yeah, right? And so what was the thing that kept you in it?
It's another story.
Okay, great.
And it kind of leads into the story of, like, who I am as a person. I think you know the story because I shared it. But yeah, so when I was in Pathfinders, like, actually in Pathfinders, when I was, like, 12, or actually this goes way back.
These are,
like, long stories.
Go way
Like I
back.
kind of have to explain everything
Take
because,
it.
yeah, I guess my ministry or whatever you want to call it, is become a part of who I am. So that's why I don't really view it as ministry. And to me, it's so simple that like ministry to me is more complex.
Okay.
But yeah, so when I was a kid, I had a very good childhood actually. I don't think anybody could touch my childhood. I was homeschooled. Now some of you may knock homeschoolers, but I had so much free time. I would do my work super quick, and I would go outside and just play alone. And then I would love it when my friends, like, because I lived in an apartment complex, I would love it when my friends came back from school, and then we would all play, and I'd go home, and I'd wake up and do it all again. And I lived, like, close to a park, too, so, like, yeah. And then I lived close to church, walking distance from a park and a church. So my whole world was walking distance, and, yeah, and it was cool. And at church, you know, I didn't just have my family, I had, like, my friends' family, too, that they were also, like, I have a bunch of second mothers. I have a bunch of old people that care about me. Like, it's like I had, like, 15 mothers, 15 dads,
That's good.
10 grandparents, you know, a bunch of cousins. Like, it was nice. I was lucky enough to be in a generation that had a lot of people. So I was very rich in that sense. But it's funny because I still felt lonely. I still felt a little empty. The one thing that, like, looking back at it, that I felt like I was missing was somebody, like, kind of like a mentor, somebody older that would, you know, kind of take the time to actually know me. Because, like I said, I've been quiet my entire life. So I've always had, like, certain walls up. So, yeah. And as a kid, I felt unjustified in these feelings because I knew I had so much. Like, in the moment, I knew I had a lot. Like, I was happy every day, but there were sometimes I felt like, yeah, like something was missing. And so one time at a Pathfinder camp, right? And, like, these thoughts are still, like, in my head. Like, I have a piece missing. It's like somebody older to take the time to know me. But, yeah, whatever, you know. Thug it out because nobody else seems to be missing that, you know. So we're at this camp, and me and my friend, we're like 12, I think, so preteen, so about to, like, in that a little rebellious stage. So there's you know, the kitchen, and no kids are allowed in the kitchen, and we didn't care. We went in and we stole some Oreos.
Oh man.
But we were slick about it. We waited until, like, Saturday night when everybody was playing around the campfire. One of us slipped out, and then the other one slipped out. We thought we were slick. We knew all the adults. We knew exactly where they were, and so that we wouldn't get caught, right? But we forgot about, like, the other kids in camp. So somebody snitched on us, and we didn't know. We went like, to visit camps, and when we got back, they're like, "Hey, the director's looking for you." And so when the director comes, you know, I'm thinking, like, I already know exactly what's going to happen. She's going to yell at us, "Jaden, I'm so disappointed, blah, blah, blah." And then you had to do dishes for the rest of the camp. And I knew exactly what's going to happen. So when she comes up to talk to us, like, I'm already, like, prepared, you know. I already know exactly what's going to happen. But she doesn't really say any of that. She literally starts off with, like, "Jaden, you know my son looks up to you, you know, and it's not just my son. It's all these other kids, too. And I'm only 12. There's only, like, 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds, too. Like, but her son was younger. She wasn't in Pathfinders yet. But, yeah, she's like, yeah, he comes home, and he's like, I want to do all those things because Jaden did all those things, too. And then that was, like, the first time it actually hit me that, like, one, the world was bigger than me. You know, because I was so focused on what I was missing. I didn't realize that others, too, could feel like that. And then, two, that, like, I could be the exact person that I'm missing for another person. And so that kind of just, like, switched my worldview completely. And I would say that was kind of the start of it.
That's big. That's big. Seeing a void or feeling the void and then being the one to fill it for other people, that's crazy.
It's also interesting because, and it's a lesson I've learned, and it's a lesson I still have to learn every day because it's tough. But it's a lesson that you still have to offer. You still have something to offer, even when you yourself are broken. And it's weird because, like, okay, maybe I started to step into that mentor role, but it's like I still had a missing piece, you know? And it's tough when you feel broken. Yeah, you have to help fix or heal others too, you know?
Yeah, how did you handle that? Because you were filling the role that you didn't see how to because you never had that. How was that process like?
I was told once a good man comes from two things: a great household and a horrible household. So, like, you could be good because you've known exactly what good is, and you could be good because you know exactly what bad is. Like, you know how horrible it could be. You don't ever want that for anybody else, so you got to be good. And, like, my point of view or my story isn't that drastic, but I think it kind of answers the question too. Like, I knew what I was missing, so I knew exactly what I should be for others.
Dang. So that's what kept you in Pathfinders for so long? For
the most part. But it's also like, yeah, that kid grew up and he left Pathfinders, you know? And then it's also the thing, like, back to what I was saying, I had the best childhood. Nobody could touch my childhood. All these kids, they have rough childhoods. How much more do they need somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I had a good childhood and I still felt like I need somebody, how much more would they need somebody? And, like, they wouldn't show it because I didn't show it, you know? So it's like, yeah. And, like, I don't want to get into it, but, like, there's a lot of kids, like, in my club that have been abused, gone through divorces, had parents pass away. Yeah, just like a lot of things that I never had to go through. And that I think even now if I went through, I wouldn't be able to go through it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they're functioning. If me as a grown adult,
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able to function.
When you see that these people, these kids have like such a crazy need for this mentor, what makes you feel like you want to fill that for them? Because I feel like a lot of people could just be like, yeah, they need that mentor, but I can't do it.
I think it goes back to, or it doesn't go back to it. I think it involves purpose. In my life, I had a hard time, a very difficult time figuring out what my purpose was. And to be honest, I still don't fully have a grasp of what my purpose is. And it's ironic because all my friends know exactly what they are, what they want to be, and they think that, like, it's the God-given, like, purpose. Like, they feel like they know their God-given purpose. And I'm just on the complete opposite. And I've had conversations and conversations. And my friend's like, you'll just know when you know. This is something that I feel like has given me purpose. I don't know if it is my purpose, but it has given me purpose. And I think that kind of drives it. You know, it's something that is needed and that I believe, or from what others have told me, God has given me the gift of. Yeah. And so, you know, if God's there with me, then, like, it's okay. And it's like, it could push me forward.
I feel like that's that balance of where it can get lost, I guess, or what people struggle with is when people say, well, why me? Why me? And then other people say, well, why not me? Or I guess in your case, for you, it's like, well, it's not me, but it's also like it's God.
Like, it goes back to that thing. Like, a lot of times I do feel broken, and I feel like I don't have the capabilities to, you know, mentor these kids. Like, who am I, you know? But I've realized that it's like 99.999% God and almost nothing. All you have to do is, like, have a willing heart, and He'll do the rest. Because there's like, I genuinely don't think I do anything big for these kids. And like the feedback I've been given, or like the things that these kids have said to me, or things their parents have said to me, it's like it doesn't it doesn't connect. It doesn't describe me, and the only way I can explain that is because God has done something. Because I legit have done nothing.
That's big. I wouldn't say nothing. I would say even just accepting the call, I guess, or having the willingness to do it. I think that's at least a little bit you. But that's good. When it comes to purpose, though, that's also something that I feel like everybody struggles with. And I've had the privilege to talk to a lot of people that have been on this podcast. And I think the conclusion, I guess, it's not a conclusion because I think it's still a journey. But what I found for purpose is I don't think there is just one purpose for somebody. I think it's your purpose is your character. Whether that's true or not, I don't know whether other people will agree with that or not. Whatever. I think that's just the best conclusion I've come to. Because it is. Nobody talks about it. And what pisses me off is when some people say that, like, or when some people do find their purpose from so young. Like, I know 3-year-olds that are like, oh, I want to be an engineer. And then they go and be an engineer. And then that's what their purpose is. And they found it out at 3 years old. And that's really annoying because what do you do for those people that don't know? Even when they're like 30 years old and they don't know their purpose. And so I think some comfort that at least I found is it's not what you do, because what happens when you get fired, or what happens when you get in an injury and you can't do your job anymore. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And so other than Pathfinders, you're also involved in your church, like, heavily. And so what my question is what made you want to be not just a member in your church, but be part of, like, the board? Because you were almost an elder at some point. And from what I thought you had to be elderly to be an elder, but I guess that's not true.
That is very interesting. And to be honest, I actually struggled with it. I don't like being in leadership. One, I don't consider myself a leader. I consider myself a facilitator, I guess. Like, I'm not the person who leads people, but I help leaders lead. In other words, I'm not the one in the front like Moses. No, I'm the people inside the crowd that's always there, that will always support, and that, it's just consistent, right? And so a lot of it's tough for me because, like, now I'm sitting in the same spot with the people who mentored me. The people that I looked up to. And I feel so, like, inadequate, so, like, unprepared. Like, I still feel like I have so much to learn. How can I be a leader? But I think it's another thing is, like, I do want to be in it because I want to make sure that these kids are spoken for and are taken care of. But I was an elder for like 2 months. I moved away, so I quit. But I did not want to be elder.
Why? Because you just said why.
Well, I just said why, but there's another reason. And I'll tell you the story.
I knew you liked stories. I wasn't making that up.
No, I'll tell you another story. And so when I was a little kid, around the same time, 12 years old, my dad was deacon director for our church. And so I would help him all the time. And if you know anything about my family, we're kind of, like, particular, I would say. So, like, something we would do, and it was so fun. Me and my whole family would go to church on Friday night after they practiced for service. And we would make sure that every pew had, like, those envelopes for offerings, right? So we would test. We started at 5. Does 5 look good? And then we would put another one. 6. I'm talking a lot. I'm yapping.
Wow.
This is not even a point of the story. This is just so you guys can get to know me and my family a little bit.
Crazy.
And then we decided on, I think it was 7. So in every single pew, there were 7 little envelopes for tithes and offerings, every single pew. And then we also had hymnals. And then we wanted to make sure that everybody had at least 2 hymnals within reach. So whether that's in the front of you or like right there in front of you or behind you. So we would stagger them. We didn't really have enough. So we would every Friday go to church, make sure there were 7 envelopes and there was hymnals around you, right? And that's just one thing. And then also in the winter, it was my favorite time. Me and my dad would go. We lived like 7 minutes walking from church.
Okay.
So me and my dad would go sometimes Friday nights, shovel the stairs. And then like if it was a big snowstorm, we would go Saturday mornings too before church and we would shovel it. It's like it was hard work. Like I would sweat. I was just 12. And then also, yeah, my favorite one time the lights in like the big chandelier, they like the light bulb burned out. So me and my dad, we went up and we crawled into the attic. It's like a massive attic. And there's like a bell there too. And it was like the coolest, like, it was like an adventure. It was the coolest thing ever. We lowered the thing, changed the light bulb and put it back up. Yeah. But my favorite part to help my dad was when we would do communion services. And like my dad had taught me like the reverence, the importance of it. Like I obviously couldn't participate in it. But I could do like the dirty work. And to me, that was so fun. Baptisms too, warming up the water and make sure the baptism was set. But communion was my favorite one to help in. And the only thing I would do is like we would set the rooms, we would set the chairs for the foot washing ceremony and put like the towels. And then we would put a table, make sure each one had 2 hand sanitizer bottles. And then make sure the bucket of dirty water, the bucket of like warm water, and then the trash in every single room. And that was my favorite thing. And then afterwards, after the ceremony, my dad would get the leftover like wine and bread, and then he would bury it. I didn't know you had to bury it because it's consecrated and it's holy. So he taught me this. So like at 12 years old, like I see the importance of helping in church. And it was a way that I like to help because nobody knew I did this. And it was like the first time that I felt like I was offering something to God. Because like throughout, when you're a little kid, like everything is geared towards you. You have, adventures, you have Pathfinders, you have Sabbath school, and you have musicals, all this stuff. That's something that like is done for you. This is the first time I felt like I was doing something for the church. And it was in my way that like, I'm quiet. I like to be in the background. And it was like the perfect way of me serving. Then fast forward a few years, I think I'm 16 or 17. My dad, like I would still do like the dirty work, I call it, but it's not dirty work. It's, but like I would empty out like all the dirty foot water and like dump it out.
I think you can call it dirty work.
Yeah. But, and then clean me and my friend would do it. And we were good at it. We had a whole system. He would spray, and it's like hundreds of them. He would spray and I would wipe. And then we would stack it. And we would stack. And it was quick. Wow. Me and him did it. It was so quick. We'd be done before everybody would leave church, But anyway, I'm actually proud because we were,
that's good.
We were good at it. But then, fast forward a few years, I'm like 16, 17. And now I'm actually a deacon, and they wanted to ordain me. You could be a deacon without being ordained. I was a deacon for like 2-3 years without being ordained. But this time they wanted to ordain me. I thought, wow, what an honor. Like, honestly, what a privilege. It's like, I remember not even being a deacon, but doing this type of work with my dad, right? And now I get to be ordained. And so they ordained me, my best friend who helped my dad when I was a little kid too, some new guy from church, and another young person. I don't know how to explain it, but the ordination service felt, and maybe this is just me, like I've tried to think, like maybe this is just me, but it felt like there was a certain agenda behind it. I don't know if you felt this, but I felt it. And I don't know why. I feel like a lot of pastors like to push youth. Like they like to, I don't want to say brag, but they like to show that they have youth and youth involved in church. And so I remember like thinking that, I'm going to get ordained and I'm going to be able to like pass around the juice and the bread And then, so they do this whole big ceremony and they do a big speech about, oh, how blessed, and it's true, I'm being kind of sarcastic, but it's true, how blessed our church is to have young people and all this and that and that. And then, so I'm like, okay, so what are me and my boy going to do, right? He's like, oh, you guys are going to be downstairs setting up the stuff. And like me and my friend were fine. But I remember, I think I got baptized at 15. This might have been 16. This was one of my first times that I could actually participate in the communion service. And I remember that one that I got ordained, me and my friends spent the entire service cleaning up and doing the dirty work. Yeah. And the same thing that I was doing since I was like a little kid. But it felt, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like they robbed it of its sanctity because it felt like it was all a show about an agenda that the pastor pushed. And then at the end, they robbed me of being able to participate in it too. I was happy to do the work, don't get me wrong. But it always bothered me. And believe it or not, when I was 16, 17, it bothered me so much that I wanted to leave the church. I've never told anybody this, nobody. But it created a trauma. Like, it messed with me. Why did you even ordain me? I'm doing the exact same thing I was doing since I was before I was even a deacon. It felt like it was just part of an agenda and just a show. And like, it's one thing to have like an agenda. I don't care if you have an agenda, but to do it to something that not only was sacred, you know, in terms of religion, but it was sacred to me. It's something that I enjoyed with my dad. It's something that was instilled in me as a kid. And it was, like I said, it was the first time that I felt that I was serving God in a way. And they just like butchered it. They just made it seem worthless. And it was something that was priceless to me. Yeah. So then, fast forward years later, they asked me to be an elder. And like, I'm trying to have an open mind to it, right? I'm trying to be objective about it. I'm trying to look at myself about it. Look, like, do I think? I'm reading in the manual what an elder is, what they should do, what the requirements are, all this stuff. And I don't think I fit it. I don't think I'm worthy enough to be it. And like I said, it's me like being at the table with the people that I'm still learning from. I feel like I have a lot to learn. Like you said, the term elder, it implies somebody who's wise and old. And I'm 22, you know, who am I? I still got a lot to learn. A lot to learn. So it's that. And then, yeah, in church, they're like nominating the nominating committee. And the pastor says something like they're you know, proposing names. And the pastor says from the pulpit, he says, remember, we have a lot of youth, like so-and-so and so-and-so and Jaden. And that triggered something in me. It's like, does he have a similar agenda as my other pastor? And then, then they nominate names for elders. And I was chosen for the nominating committee. They nominate elders. And then my name comes up. And then I make an observation. I tell them, I don't think I'm ready. In the manual, they also have a line about be careful of pushing people into roles when they're not ready yet. And I told them, be careful of that with me when considering me. There was other things that kind of felt like this pastor also had that agenda of pushing youth.
Just for the show.
But again, that might be wrong. But that's just how I felt. And it triggered that trauma back when I was 16 of me being an ordained deacon. And it was a very tough time because I didn't know what to do. And like, I didn't feel qualified, but I knew God would qualify me, right? But it's like, and it's a thing with me and my titles. I don't like titles. I don't want to be an elder. And it's like, they said one of their arguments to like help me accept it was like, you're already doing everything like an elder should do. So why not just accept it? I'm like, that's also an argument for the opposite. I can still do all these things without being an elder. I don't need the title. So yeah, a pastor, he's a teacher here at Andrews. He talked to me. He's like, Jaden, I really think, and he's, besides my dad, right? Religiously, he's like the one I respect the most in my church. And he came, he's like, we're not nominating you out of thin air. There's a lot of things that we see in you that you don't see in yourself. I think you should accept it. And I thought about that for a lot. And I was like, nah, that's not good enough. And then I talked to my youth pastor, the other pastor. And we had a conversation. And he's like, you know, me as a youth pastor, I've also felt that like my superiors have had agendas. He's like, don't allow agendas to get in the way of you doing God's work. That's what he said. But I still didn't like qualify. Like it still wasn't like a valid reason. I could still do God's work without being an elder. What made me accept it? I actually haven't really thought about this. And it might have come out of a wrong place. But the only reason I accepted it was so that the younger kids could see that you could be young and have like position of authority or make change. My youth pastor also said like, great leaders have two things, or usually great leaders have one of two things. They're either great leaders out of authority or they're great leaders out of influence. And he said, I think you have the potential to have both. So yeah, that was another thing. Wow. But it was a struggle. I ended up accepting it, and then I ended up having to move away. And I don't know, it sort of felt like I was right into not wanting to accept it in the first place.
Why?
Because I feel like, like now I'm not even an elder anymore.
So you feel like you shouldn't have been in the first place?
No, I feel like I was right. That's like God's plan that like, nah, Jaden, not yet.
Interesting. Well, from what you made it sound like in the beginning, and one of the reasons why I didn't accept it when you said you didn't feel like you were ready, what would ready look like? Or what would it feel like?
I think that was, to be honest, a cop-out excuse from my end, because you're never ready. God makes you ready. But it's also like, I think you should be at a certain spot spiritually to accept such a influential and important role in church leadership.
Interesting.
Actually, in any leadership.
Yeah. You said before that you had a time where you didn't feel like you were close to walking away from the church. And I feel like even it's pretty normal for people growing up in the church, they lose it. What's something that made you keep it? Or what brought you back?
There's a quote, and I don't really know the full quote, from Mother Teresa. But it was my 8th grade quote, and it's a long quote, and I got clowned for it.
Oh.
But I think it answers this question. It says something like, basically the gist of it is, people will accuse you of things, be kind anyway. People are messed up, forgive them anyway. Blah, 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 whatever, do it anyway. And at the end it says, because in the end, it was never between you and them. It's only between you and God. And I think that's really something that I forgot, because I learned that in 8th grade, and this is me like 16, 17. Yeah. But I realized that like all this religion, like everything, is between me and God. I don't care how messed up you are. It's not going to change what I think my duty is to my God. And so regardless if you have an agenda, that's not going to change my purpose or God's purpose for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't leave the church. It really wasn't, it was, forgive me, but like, it was almost like a FU to them. I'm still solid, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay in the church.
That's good. I feel like that's hard because how can you, like, I feel like a lot of people can taint what being a Christian means, and they can taint, like, what God looks like.
It's really like an FU to everybody else. I don't care what anybody else does. It's not going to change my perspective of my relationship with God. And I can't let it change me.
Yeah. Well, from that, I think because you've had so many different, whether you like to admit it or not, you've been a leader, and you've had so many different leadership opportunities. What is something that you've seen that you think could be, I guess, fixed?
There's a lot of hidden agendas, I think. I don't think that's just limited to my church. I think they come at a good place, and that's why they're dangerous. Because you believe you're doing what's right, and it may be wrong. But like I said, who am I to? I don't know what's right and wrong either.
Right. Well,
but you can sort of tell when it's not fully spirit-led, I guess.
How can you tell?
The fruits that come from it. But so I think that's another thing. I think we need to kind of swallow our pride and lean back to, back to the basics, where it's God and it's spirit-led. And it's not, oh, this is what I think God wants me to do, or this is what God has told me should happen, or all this stuff. And I don't have all the answers. But I think another thing is, and I think people have talked about it all the time, the SDA bubble, but also, like, I just preached for my first time, right?
That was your first time?
Well, technically I was, like, in 8th grade. I did the tent, but that was my first time. And it's actually part 1 of 3 sermons.
Okay.
But I haven't thought about the other ones. But basically the gist is, number 1, you have to truly understand God. I think God is one of the most misunderstood beings ever. And that's why we have so many errors, because nobody truly knows God. Number 2, we have to be stronger in our community. In our local church, we have to be more of a family, supporting each other and loving each other. And then number 3, as a family, as a church, as a local church, we should expand that love to our community around us. So it's like a 3-step process, and I think that's something. 1, understand God. 2, have your community in your church. And 3, spread your understanding, your community, to those around you that are non-believers.
From what you just said, you said God is one of the most misunderstood people. What is people?
Yeah, beings. I don't know.
What's a way that we can avoid that, or that we can?
Don't ask me, because I don't understand God either.
I'm
in the same boat.
And I think that's fair, because I think the people that say that they fully understand God, I think they're wrong.
I just think, I just go back to that. Like, if you have faith as much as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. That wasn't, fake. I truly believe that's real. And we've all seen the mustard seed. I think we should have faith at least of an almond or a walnut, maybe a watermelon. Imagine we had the faith. Why are you
increasing the size of the verse?
No, because I think the point was that you guys are so far away. You guys have a lot to gain, and we have zero faith, and we're trying to say, hey, this is what God wants. How the frick can you say that? But I can't say that either. I can't move a mountain. So I can't really answer the question. Seed. I'm not answering the question. I'm just giving my thoughts on the question.
No, that's good. What was the third thing you said? You said to expand to the people
around. Yes.
Around.
I think sometimes we skip the step of understanding God and having that community in our own local church, and we try to do the community stuff too early, and so that's why nobody's believing us, because it's not founded in the right thing and it's not fully developed.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember that when I was talking to Pastor Shane about it, because I told him that I think people don't go out into the world or outside of the bubble enough, but he was saying that from what he finds being, the leader of the church, that people think that they're focused too much on the outside and that they don't take care of the people inside. And so I think it's interesting on both sides.
Yeah.
You have to, I guess, water. I was going to say a quote that didn't sound good at all. I was going to say you have to water the plant before you spread it, but that's not, you're not spreading a plant. You know what I'm saying?
Before
just pretend.
It produces fruit or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, just pretend.
I know another plant quote. This is one of my favorites too.
Oh, man.
It's the one who plants trees knowing that they'll never get to stand in its shade has just become to understand life.
Wait, say it again.
The one who plants trees knowing that they'll never be able to stand in its shade has just started to understand life.
Do you think that's what you're doing in a way?
Yeah, actually. Well, that's what I try to do. Yeah. I think about legacy a lot. And it's weird because sometimes it motivates me. Other times it demotivates me, because it's okay, I know when I die, nobody will remember me, but they might remember how I made them feel.
The tree.
Yes.
The tree you planted?
Yeah, maybe. And that kind of motivates me. But then it's nobody will remember anything, so why do anything? Like I said, I don't feel like I'm doing a lot. And it's hard to keep going. So I do this Bible study, right? And I do it right after work. So I get home at 6:15. I get off at 6. I do at 6:15. I tell, okay, you guys ready? And they're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just 1 or 2 people can go. And so I'm I wait 40 minutes. Nobody shows up on a FaceTime call. It's okay, well, just reschedule, And it's I'm tired. I don't really want to do it all the time. So I just reschedule. And then all of a sudden it's no. Let's do it. We want to do it. And then it goes from 2 people to 5 or 6, just like that. But I have to wait an hour for it.
That's crazy.
But it's a lot of times I feel I'm not doing something, but they clearly do care. I could tell stories after story. Another story. So I played basketball. The way I connect with the kids, I play basketball with them. And so I think it was a year, maybe 2 years ago, I left my basketball there. And it's a cheap Walmart basketball. I've lost 2 basketballs there already. So I left that on a Thursday, right? Friday, I'm busy. I don't go. Saturday night, I'm supposed to hang out with my friends. So I come in town, and they're like, hey, we got to push it. It's 10:15. We were supposed to meet up at 10. They're like, okay, let's meet up at 10:45. So it's 10:15. I was like, oh, let me go see if my basketball's still there. So I go, and to my surprise, my basketball's still there. So I'm there. I'm shooting around. And then a couple of kids that I know, they come out running. They're like, Jaden. I'm like, what are you guys doing out here? It's 10:30 at night. Go home. Go to your parents. They're little kids. They're like, no. There's another kid that I know. Yeah, he I don't know. They just start rambling. I don't really catch anything. I catch fight and campus safety. That's what I catch. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. So apparently, there was these 2 kids, and they were trying to take my basketball, and a kid who knew that was my basketball, didn't let them take it, and he stood up to them, and I think they got into a little altercation, I'll call it, and the other 2 kids called campus safety, and he was getting in trouble. And so I was like, and my basketball was still there, and it was the only basketball there. So I was like, and I was leaving the next morning. So I was about to ask him, hey, where does this kid live so I could go thank him, And it's like, he's still at campus safety. I'm like, what? I pull up to campus safety. I go there. I see the kid. He's like red-eyed, teary. He's crying. His mom is there. And two campus safety officers are there, like, grilling him. I'm like, hey, man, I don't really know what happened. But this kid, he's a good kid. And he was just protecting my stuff. This is my basketball. And they're like, no, I think we got to figure it out. And then I thanked the kid. And I went in my car, and I actually started crying a little bit. It touched me because it was, like, to me, it was just a basketball. But to this kid, like, it was Jaden's basketball. And Jaden is somebody that's legit worth fighting for. Like, I didn't know I meant that much to him.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think, like, a lot of times, like, the things I do, and I just play basketball with the kid, you know? I don't do much, but it means a lot. It means enough for him to stand up, you know, because if I was in his position, it's just a basketball. You know, I let the two kids, what am I going to fight for a basketball for? But no, he knew it was my basketball, and he fought for me. He defended me. A little kid defending me, you know?
That's crazy. The impact you have on these kids.
And I don't feel like I do. But it's like those stories kind of, you know, help me to keep going. And a lot of times I forget. Actually, I shared my testimony one time, and I shared it with my little Bible study group. And so one of the people in the Bible study, she told me, she's like, Jaden, I want to thank you for all that you do for the youth. Because even if you don't feel like it, it means a lot to us. And that right there, like, you know, it helps me keep going. Because like I said, like, I just play basketball with these kids. I just go to musicals. I just go to basketball games. I don't really do much. But yeah, somehow it means something, you know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I lose sight of that fact. But like, the little moments that I feel like God still puts in, you know, in my experiences to help me keep going, give me fuel. There's another story. This one, in church, you know, a lot of the times I felt like I had to go up to, like, the adults level. Like, I had to make sure I spoke eloquently or whatever, or I couldn't be like a kid. I couldn't be myself. I had to, you know, sit up straight, you know, all this stuff. I had to go up to their level. But there was this one guy who would come down to my level. You know, he would make jokes. He would run around with us. I remember when my voice started changing. He would make fun of my voice being deeper. He said, "Oh, big boy Jaden. Oh, your voice is deep now." Huh? And yeah, about 4 years ago, he passed away. And he left 2 kids behind, pretty young kids. And that's another, like, point. Like, he took care of me. Now it's my turn to help take care of his kids, you know. And at the funeral, I remember I'm greeting his wife, his widow. She just looks me in my eyes. I'll never forget this. She looks me in my eyes and she's like, Jaden, take care of my kid for me. Take care of my son for me. And like, I know my parents care about me in a way that I can't describe. So for another parent to, like, entrust their kid with me is a responsibility I don't take lightly. And so,
How old were you at that time?
I was 18.
Wow.
It was a big weight on my shoulders, but it was a comfortable weight. I don't know how to explain it. Like, that was another pivot in my journey. And so, yeah, a few years goes by. The same widow, the same mother, she comes up to me one day, and she says, Jaden, you know, I'll never have the words to thank you enough for what you do to my kids. And that's just like another fuel to the fire that keeps me going. It's like, again, I just show up to her kids like soccer games and basketball games. I don't do much. You know, I just say hi every time I see him. You know, I dap him up or whatnot. But I don't really do much. In my point of view, I don't really do much. But for her, it's like it's meaningful.
I mean, just being there for them, I think it's a big thing. You might not feel like you do a lot, but just like, I think the best mentors are not people that tell these kids like, oh, well, you got to do this, but they lead by example. And I think that that's a big thing that these kids see in you, and that's what they appreciate about you. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I don't usually like to share these stories, but if I feel like it could give value, especially you're my friend. So. But yeah,
I appreciate that.
If you see me and you've seen this podcast, act like you don't know me.
No, I think you guys should all give Jaden a big hug when you see him in person.
I deny all these stories to your face.
No, they're good stories.
But it's too intimate.
Too intimate.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked this episode and you want to support the podcast, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below. No one's been commenting, and I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if there's some questions you're curious about, if there's people you would want me to interview to hear more about their lives. Let me know. Use that comment section. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.